Hey guys, so today I'm just going to be talking about an alternative fix for when your extruder motor is not working too well or skipping. So a lot of sources online will tell you to, check that your bed is level, make sure that your nozzle assembly is not clogged, that your Bowden tube isn't clogged, etc., etc. But I noticed that there's one fix that nobody seems to be talking about, and it has to do with the stepper motor drivers themselves. So, at least on Creality machines such as the Ender 3 and the Ender 3 Max, the driver boards include the stepper drivers have potentiometers that come pre-adjusted from the factory that determine how much power the stepper motors actually get. When I bought the Ender 3, for example, everything was adjusted perfectly. I never had to change anything. But when I got my hands on the Ender 3 Max, I noticed that the extruder was skipping. And I knew that my bed was leveled. I knew that I recently installed an all metal hot end into here with a point 0.6 nozzle, so I know that it can't be a problem with the nozzle. So what I ended up doing was actually, so I'm gonna show you guys the board on the Ender 3. I'm going to take this apart and then I'll get back to you. Alright, so I've taken off the cover, the back cover, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. So, I'm showing you guys on the Ender 3 Pro, but it's pretty much the same exact thing as the Ender 3 Max. I just didn't feel like taking that one apart because it's heavier. So look here, we have each of these heat sinks, these aluminum heatsink thingies, are on top of a stepper motor driver, and both the Ender 3 Pro and the Ender 3 Max have 4 steppers, one for the X, one for the Y, one for the extruder, and one for the Z. So the one you're interested in is this one. It's labeled E for extruder, and the corresponding stepper motor driver, the thing that's responsible for giving it power, is right here. And right to the side of it, there's going to be this little knob here, and you can turn it. So mine is already perfectly adjusted, so I'm not going to touch it. But if you wanted to increase the power going to your stepper motor driver, you simply take a flathead screwdriver that fits within this, or a Phillips head. I prefer flathead. You take a small enough screwdriver that fits in here, and you turn it about 20 degrees to the right, and see if that helps. So turning this to the right is going to increase the power going to your motor, but it's also going to increase the temperature. It's going to make your motor get a lot hotter, and if it gets too hot, it could actually melt the filament, or at least soften it as it's going through, which could cause the filament to get flattened, which would cause its own, a whole other bunch of issues. So on my Ender 3 Max, the motor was too weak. It was skipping. It couldn't force the filament through the hot end. So I turned it just enough where the filament was going through, and I guess it reached like 50, 60 degrees. It was hot to the touch, painful if you kept your hand there, but nothing too crazy. If your motor is reaching 70, 80 degrees C, then that's probably the danger zone where the filament is going to melt, especially if you're printing PLA, and it could even damage its own magnets after a while, or so I've heard. So yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much all I've got to say about this topic. If you want to increase the voltage and, therefore power that's going to your stepper motor, you can simply turn this to the right. If one of your motors is getting too hot, you can also reduce the power going to it. You can turn it to the left. And you want to do it in increments of 10, 20 degrees until you find the right configuration for you. That's all.